It's the truth. People would come back and they would say, why are you opening that can of worms? Why do we have to talk about this? And I would now say more confidently, because we never did before, and it's not continuing.
Hello, dear listeners. It's that time again when we stroll through the paths of ambition, desire, and success. Welcome to the Dare to Declare podcast, where we explore the enchanting world of giant manifestors who've turned their visions and goals into the stuff of legends. I couldn't help but wonder, how do some people create the lives they've always dreamed of? Is it the magic of manifesting, the power of perseverance, or perhaps just a dash of serendipity? Well, dear friends, grab your coffee cups because we're about to spill the tea on fascinating journeys of those who dare to dream big and make it happen. Join me as we sip on success stories and ponder the ever-enticing question, can we all manifest our dreams into reality, or is it just an urban fairy tale? I'm your host, Debbie Sluice, and I'm here to guide you through the labyrinth of achievement with heart and soul. Ready to dare to declare? Welcome to today's episode. I am very happy and excited to introduce Pauline Grouette, who is amazing, and I know you're going to find her story extraordinary. So she says that her mission statement is to empower and motivate people to reclaim their authentic selves. Her intention is to leave this world knowing that she has done her best to be part of the ripple effect of changing lives around this world. So she is a top certified awareness coach. She is a CPT practitioner, #1 best-selling author. She's a dental consultant, registered dental assistant, vision board facilitator. Yes, she is with Dare to Declare. And she's a motivational speaker. She says, there was a time when I struggled to find purpose and I was just going through the motions day by day in victim mode, then survival mode. She says, I always knew that I was destined for more. Determination, strength, courage, and self-faith are what got me through. I realized that no one else was going to do the heavy lifting for me. I had to learn to rely on myself. She says, I can help you along your path and how to avoid making the same mistakes. Welcome, Pauline. Hey, everybody. So really excited to have Pauline here today. Pauline, how do you pronounce your last name?
Grouette.
Grouette. So Pauline Grouette here. And Pauline and I have known each other for a little while because she is a certified Dare to Declare vision board trainer. And we also met through a mutual coaching program, even though we weren't in there at the same time, but we kind of had that connection as well. And so I'm just really excited to share her with you today. And she's a really fascinating woman, and I know that you're going to really be impressed with all the things that she's up to. So I just want to ask this random question. What are you currently reading right now, Pauline?
Reading. To be quite honest, anthology of literature by women.
So tell me more about that.
Well, it's being a history buff. It's a compilation of historical women literary writers who, in some cases, are a little controversial, but they made their way through into society, or successful businesswomen, doctors, whatever they wanted to do, even though they might have had to go on a synonym name, or whatever other means that it required for them to get into even school. Some dressed as men. And it's really, really interesting when you look into the how they did what they did, because they believed in what they were doing so much. So they went through so many methods, like dressing as a man. Like that's huge, because you had to hide certain parts of your body. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow. Well, I can see why you'd be reading a book like that, because I know that you are very passionate, and I don't think anything would stop you. If you were on a mission, I know that you are a very passionate, driven person, and I can imagine. Do you feel that? You feel like you're like they kind of embody your spirit?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Deb. Yeah, it's, you know what? I guess I've always looked for female role models that way. Joan of Arc being one of my favorites. I have
Mm.
one of, like, there's a restaurant that we go to, the old spaghetti factory, and they have a statue of her actually, and she's praying, and I have a photo of me standing beside the statue in the same position. It's one of my absolute favorites. She's an amazing woman.
Very cool. As you're speaking, I was thinking about your recent trip and some of the poses that you were striking there, and that was in Peru, right?
Right, correct.
Yeah. So I'm jumping around a little bit, but um, how did you get to Peru? And I mean, what I mean by that is like, what made you decide that you wanted to go to Peru? And then, striking a pose beside Joan of Arc, you were striking some poses there in Peru. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that. There's a few questions there, a few answers.
Yeah.
It all started, I would say the poses with Joan of Arc were first. I had it on my vision board to go somewhere spiritual, somewhere to get through blocks that I knew were holding me back from being exactly what I want to be. And so Joan of Arc would have been, well, I guess the vision board was first, and then Joan of Arc. Then I started working with a mentor for alchemy. As you do all the work, becoming that mentor is crucial. And being able to spiritually die off the old you as you're creating the new you, taking those actionable steps is crucial. I wasn't sure if I was going to Peru or Bali or wherever it was. Peru is what came up. And I spoke to my mentor as I started my new business. I officially retired from my dental field after 23 years. So finances were really, really tight. There was no way I was going to be going to Peru on the money I was making. So you have faith, you envision it, you manifest it. She provided a payment plan. I was like, yes. So that's how I ended up in Peru. Long story short.
No, that's great. I think that people can relate to that. You have written a book,
Oh,
and
yes.
you've written more than one book, right? You've written in chapters in like an anthology yourself, and then you have your own book
Mhm.
titled after you, right?
It's called The Other Pauline. It's dedicated to my mother-in-law, whose name was also Pauline.
Right.
And it's a story of courage and determination for identity. Yeah.
So I know that you were on that discovery journey and you discovered interesting information about your ancestry. Could you share about that?
Which part would you like to hear, Deb?
Well, I guess also the part of your connection to the indigenous peoples. I find that really fascinating. One of the things is when I look at you, you could be a girl from Ireland. Like you have like a very Irish look, like fair skin and
Yeah.
auburn hair
Mhm.
uh and then it's just so interesting when I'm adopted, so I'm always curious about ancestry as well as bloodlines and my main question growing up is, who do I look like?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
maybe you could relate to that, and then
Mhm.
for you to discover some of these answers. Yeah. So I just like, what was your journey there? And then I think you're still uncovering things, right?
Yes, I'm still trying to find more relatives, more cousins at this point because the main aunts and uncles have mainly all passed. So, but how I started my journey, you can go right back to childhood on this one. I never knew who I was. And part of this integration period I was talking about, as recent as last week, I'm still realizing how lonely and confused this little girl was
Mm.
because I didn't know who I was. And there were many stories that were made up to what they thought was protecting me. but in the long run, it harmed me even more. So even though they had the right intentions, and this is what my book is about, even though people have the right intentions, it's not always in the best interest of the person they're trying to protect. Because that, as I continued my search, that made me make really not very good decisions with people that I was seeking out in specific relationships with men, and even for women for that matter, because friendships, I was not taught how to have a relationship. And speaking ancestrally, neither was my mother or my grandmother or perhaps my great-grandmother. I'm not sure how far back it goes. But when you're speaking of ancestry, these are part of the stories. Now you're getting into the Aboriginal. These are part of the stories that are passed down in front of a fire and passing on the wisdom. The funny thing, I say funny, it's decide for a word for yourself. But when it comes to the wisdom, there's a lot of people who just accept it at face value. But when you allow yourself to dig a little bit deeper, there's so much more to it than what it's presenting itself as.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Some people will be sitting by the fire, and perhaps an aunt, an uncle, grandparent will say, oh, your family member did this when they were younger. Oh, you're just like that. When you dig a little bit deeper, you can get into the whole part about not being good enough, because the littlest things, just like those little comments, oh, you're just like them. And other family members might have made comments derogatorily about that family member or whatever. And you think at the time on a surface level, oh, okay, I'm like that. Well, okay, but not really. And you don't really dig into it. So it goes into that process into your mind where it's stored. You don't want to think about it again, but you do. On that subconscious level, because it keeps coming back up and you don't realize it at first. So when you start digging deeper and you start becoming more aware and recognizing certain traits that you might not want to uncover, they're already there. Here's a better example. One that I just had with my daughter, who just got engaged, by the way, on Monday.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, got a wedding coming up. So fun.
That's exciting. But here's an example where I never realized some of the traits that I had passed on to her unintentionally, about things that, without getting too technical, being mean. I didn't think I was being mean, but it's kind of, things had to be a certain way, or I would feel that it was kind of chaotic, and I had to have control over certain things because I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any kind of, it was like an identity crisis. So until I knew what that was, and allowing people to do things because they loved me, and allowing myself to open up like that. I'm kind of talking about a few different things here, but that was the biggest thing, because she made a video for her wedding, or the engagement, I should say. And in the song, it talks about how, like, her fiance, my future son-in-law, says, just let me do something for you. But as a single parent growing up, I guess subconsciously I raised her that, no, we can do this. We can do anything we put our mind to. So she didn't want help with anything. It didn't matter what it was. Stubborn, determined, you pick the word. But she did not want help with anything. And he had to really kind of step in and like, no, I'm doing this for you. It's for you because I love you. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to make your life worse. you'll see once you're there and once you allow yourself to relax and accept my love, you'll see how much better life can be. And so when they played that, I was like, oh my goodness. Because as a single parent, my kids used to joke a little bit and call me the mom dad because their father was not really in their life. And I did drywalling and painting and electrical and all these things, plus the cooking and cleaning and everything else, running to sports and everything. They called me the mom dad. So I never realized it until last week how that affected her. So it was very interesting. And that's on a much deeper level. So when I
Yeah.
talk about going deep, yeah.
No, it makes sense. And I read your book, and it's different, but we both have childhood trauma. And my response, although I wasn't a single parent, was to be in control, because control was taken away from me in terms of choices and control over my own body as a little one. And so when I would be in a state of stress, I would demand control, and I had to have things be my way. Now that served me well in until it didn't, like in terms of leadership, and then until it becomes, as you said, mean, right? So that control, as a single parent, you need to be in control because you've got to make sure that you're fulfilling both roles. So
Exactly.
you were a go-getter, you got things done, the kids' teeth were brushed, they were at practice when they needed to be, homework was done. Like there's all the things. So you
Yeah.
needed to be in control. And then but it gets to be where, like you said, the tipping over balance, whereas like somebody wants to help you and you don't know how to receive help. And we're setting a model for our kids. And here's the beautiful thing, that what I'm hearing is that you had the conversation. And so it's never too late to break, even if it's a generational kind of curse. Now, in
Mhm.
this case, I don't know if it was just the way you're being, but if maybe your mom was similar to that, I don't know. But that this is not now going to be passed on to your daughter and her children. But sometimes it is because it's not recognized. But how incredible that you are open to that conversation, able to look at, oh yeah, that served me when I was having to be mom, dad. But now you're right. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to accept help and love from your partner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And that's exactly, I like to define it as a chain, breaking the chains,
Mm.
because those chains there's all different sizes of chains, different weights. And just by cutting those chains sometimes. And it didn't come easy. As you might be able to relate, there was a lot of resistance for certain people because it's the truth. Why? And people would come back and they would say, why are you opening that can of worms? Why do we have to talk about this? And I would now say more confidently, because never did before, and it's not continuing. If anything, the thing that I'm grateful for is my mom was the way she was, cold. She was unfortunately going through depression. So she was always in her room, usually in bed. My sister and I did lots of the cleaning of the house, things like that. But by her not being that emotional person that I needed, that cold brick wall that she was, that brick wall made me stronger. And it made
Mm.
me see what I didn't want for my kids, also what I wanted for my kids. So I made sure that they got hugs and kisses every single day and told that they were loved, and there was no question about that. When I was growing up, I didn't know why my mom kept me. I didn't know anything. And my mom wouldn't be able to express herself, but she did it out of love. And there's so many different kind of love. So it was
Yeah,
it was
she
a
did the
hard
best
one to
she could.
digest. Exactly,
Yeah,
with what she
she
had.
did the best she did, she could with what she had and knew, and so many. And but when you know better, you do better.
Exactly. You hope that you would do better.
Yes, Yeah, for sure. So you are a major manifester, and I love highlighting major manifestors on this show. So can you do some bragging here for a minute? Tell us some of the things that you've accomplished, even since I've known you. Like you've ticked off courses and certifications. You've written a book.
Hmm.
You've done some construction, right?
Hmm. You just said it all.
Well, give us details. Give us details.
Okay, I'm thinking back to not from when we were in the course together, but when I was part of your course at the academy. And my very first, I tell this in all of my workshops because I love it. I had worked 3 months on what I thought at the time was a vision board.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I was so proud of it. And I still have it actually in my office here as a reminder that Deb so graciously said, "Oh, my dear, that's a collage." I will never forget that. I have it in my presentation. I just, yeah, I love
Yeah, and I
that.
asked you how your life was. You're like, it's kind of chaotic. And I said, I'm really not surprised.
So now that everything is all uniform and in the nice little boxes, it's been awesome. I had many instances of things that I've been remembering as a child that I wanted to do, and I never was allowing myself to feel the feels. So speaking of the manifesting, things that have come to light, I've become, yeah, an author, not only a collaboration of books with others, though I am making changes all over the world that I never thought of that I would, that other people have noticed and nominated me for positions. There's a group called LUANI, Leaders of All Nations International, and I was nominated to be Canadian ambassador. So I get to represent people all over the world and help people as much as I can. The thing that's wonderful about that is using your voice. We're going to be having a convention in Niagara Falls. We picked Niagara Falls because it's the mouth, the throat of the Great Lakes. And so that's why I chose Niagara Falls. That'll be next year sometime. Um, and just other things that have come about working with Tony Robbins, where that was a big shock. Over 16,000 people on the screens in the background. And the person at the time, Fran Shelton, points out, "Oh, I see you, Pauline. I see you shaking your head." And I was like, in shock. And I was like, because I literally just finished my vision board the next day, or the day before, I mean. And so, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, quickly screenshot that. I need evidence. And those were things that happened immediately. So many things have happened where we're building a sanctuary now. People are they're approaching me to come and heal and live with me. So my husband and I are creating a sanctuary for people to come and figure out who they are on a much more holistic way, working with nature and gardening, getting back to Mother Earth and understanding not only the work that's involved, but the why, finding out their purpose. And I keep looking over here just because that's where she is. I have my door open to my balcony here, and the birds are singing and the trees are blowing a little bit, and it just brings music to my heart. So that's why I keep
I love it. I
looking over.
could hear the birds actually. So
Okay.
it's yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. So as we wrap up, I'm wondering what's on your vision board. I see it over your shoulder. I don't know if that's your current one, but what's on your vision board right now? What are you really excited about?
The thing I'm really, really excited about is I have a vision board workshop that's manifesting right now. Well, it's actually not manifesting anymore. We've secured a date, August 26th, where I'm actually doing a workshop with all of the leaders, one from each continent, so that we can make the world a better place, and have them lead not only with their hearts, but make sure that they're taking care of themselves so that their lives are not chaotic and they're not camouflaged.
Right.
But on my vision board, it's part of it is that's like, yeah, okay, so there's the Aboriginal part. There's a picture of me in Peru when that was at the gates of the gods, and the photographer just happened to catch an awesome moment where I was deep in my meditation with the spirits, and it is very magical area. I also have just the abundance that I know I'm worthy and deserving of, where there's a regular monthly shipment of flowers to my home every month, and there's a winery that in Niagara that they have monthly delivery, so that's on there too. Being able to shop without worrying and pinching pennies, and also family and community. Two ladies hugging, having that relationship with people that is unconditional and non-judgmental. Not knowing how to have relationships as a child. This is one of my main intentions was for Peru. And so up there with people that I work with, people that I can treat and go on spa days or give them, gift cards, extra things, because I appreciate them. Just as they work hard, I can show my appreciation for them as well. And of course, there's food. Food's awesome. What else is there? Oh, flying first class. And the top picture up here, what was that one again? Oh, it's the garden. That's why I can't see. It's all camouflaged in there. Like, because all the colors, I don't mean it. But my garden, it's so full of abundance. And those are the main things that clients that are coming to me, getting back to the earth, and they're always shocked at how much, just by getting their hands dirty, by even something simple like pulling weeds, and how relaxing it is, and how they're able to really connect.
I've met a couple ladies that I've crossed paths with, and one had suffered, it was her second concussion, and she said that lemon thyme saved her life, and she just said that she would just sit in the garden and just pull off the leaves and just the scent. And then another one of my clients who I worked one-on-one, she created a whole business called the Restorative Gardener. So she, yeah, and just like you said, it's simply just getting back to getting our hands dirty like we did when we were little,
Yeah.
and playing and playing.
Yeah.
Well, Pauline, it's always so awesome to talk to you. How can people connect with you and buy your book, find out about your programs and your offerings and your workshops? Where's the best place to get a hold of you?
My website is at guidedjourneycoaching.ca. I'll say it again because I think I said that a bit fast. It's guidedjourneycoaching.ca. That is where you can see my workshops. You can see some packages. There's landing pages there for my books. I'm on Amazon. I'm in Indigo, Walmart's, all of the main retails, Barnes and Nobles. And then working with me one-on-one, of course, there's a contact form there on my website as well.
That's amazing. Just listening to you list off these bookstores, and it's just incredible. I'm just so proud with you. So I know that you're going to continue to impact the world in a really big way. And I love your heart and your wisdom and all that you give. And so I hope people take you up on your offer. We'll also put the information in the show notes so that they can find you easily there. So thanks so much for sharing your story and for being here today.
Thank you so much, Deb. Very grateful.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Today, we've delved into the realm of manifesting giants, exploring the power of declaring our desires to the universe with unapologetic boldness. But before we bid adieu, I have a little something special to share with all of you dreamers out there. Introducing the Dare to Declare Vision Board magazine and online DIY Vision Board course, your ticket to manifesting greatness in style. Picture this, flipping through pages filled with inspiring images, empowering quotes, and step-by-step guides to help you create the vision board of your dreams. Whether you're yearning for that spacious condo with a view, or a love that sets your soul on fire, our magazine is here to guide you every step of the way. Dive deep into the art of manifesting with our exclusive online DIY vision board course. Led by manifesting expert, yes, yours truly, and seasoned dreamers. This course will teach you the ins and outs of creating a vision board that speaks to your heart and soul. So what are you waiting for? Join the ranks of the manifesting giants and dare to declare your wildest dreams to the universe. Head over to our website, debbiesluice.com, and grab your copy of the Dare to Declare Vision Board magazine and enroll in our online DIY Vision Board course today. Until next time, keep dreaming big and daring to declare, because in the world of manifesting, the sky's the limit.